Welcome to Season 3 of the Knack 4 Business Podcast. Over 250 episodes strong, we're here to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit with fresh insights, networking gems, and creative strategies that elevate your game. Are you ready to discover what your Knack 4 business truly is? Your hosts are Bernie Fransgrote from Creative Insight and Wayne Pratt from Motive 8U Inc.
Today's topic is, seriously, if you're invisible, you'll fail. How can you simplify hosting impactful events while saving time and effort? Our guest today is Jennie Eriksen from EventRaptor. Jennie is the visionary behind EventRaptor, a platform that transforms event planning into a simple, stress-free experience. With a background in tech and business development, Jennie has over 15 years of experience in creating systems that make complex tasks easier. Before founding EventRaptor, she led successful projects in IT and software development, helping organizations streamline operations and enhance user experiences. Now, Jennie uses her expertise to empower entrepreneurs and organizers to focus on delivering impactful events, while EventRaptor handles attendee tracking, speaker coordination, marketing with a seamless CRM integration. Her passion for innovation and helping others shines through everything she does. Plus, she's just a well-rounded person. Jennie, welcome.
My favourite quote is from the 1992 film Strictly Ballroom, which is an Australian film created by Baz Luhrmann. And it's actually, a life lived in fear is a life half lived. I really lean into that because if you're not going to get out there in whatever it is you do and take a chance and use the momentum to take small steps to get out there, I fear you're going to get to the end of your life and think, all those opportunities I've missed to do something, say something, be somewhere. And as I say, the films are very much a happy ending of the story, but it's just such an impactful life. It really is a little kind of kick in the pants to get out there and be seen and do the thing. And actually the character in the film goes from being invisible to being visible as well. One of the main characters.
And what's the tagline for EventRaptor?
Steve, my husband, who is actually the creator of EventRaptor, so I'd love to say I created the system. I supported creating the system. I talk about it a lot. But my tagline, the thing I say is visibility is your own responsibility. I can't take credit for the line. Actually, there's a TEDx talk surrounding it, but it summarizes how we feel. So visibility is your responsibility, but we're here to help you make it happen. That's the tagline I use, and it seems to really resonate with people. And if you go to networking meetings, you very much see people's micro expressions on their faces when you say it's kind of, oh, yeah, you're right, it is.
So why is it that people like to be invisible? And why do they want to be in that zone as opposed to being visible?
I think for all of us, we're speaking or whatever it is we're doing, it's a fear of being judged. You know, we're putting ourselves out there where we're being seen in all our glory. Imposter syndrome kicks in. Of course, you know your stuff and you want to talk about your stuff. And then suddenly the imposter syndrome kicks in. You're doubting your expertise and you're literally underneath the spotlight. So first and foremost, a lot of people get intimidated by all the tech and the tools. They think they're going to need a whole load of stuff. And all the moving parts, speaker bios, landing pages, all the stuff you need. Have you got your thing? And what time is somebody speaking? And so people go, I don't want to do it because it's just going to involve too much time and effort and the tools, and I've got to learn things. So I'm not going to do it. Another thing is people, we all do it. I'm not ready. It's like when you're sitting on the side of the swimming pool, it might not be graceful, but you'll get there. And the more you do it, the more seamless it gets. I haven't got my ducks in a row. I haven't got this and I haven't got that. And then suddenly another year has gone past and you're still saying, I'm not quite ready yet. I haven't quite tweaked the landing page or the way I'm going to finish my talk. And a lot of people get caught in I need to learn a bit more before I do the thing. I've got to just get this in place and then I need to go out and do the thing. Some of the best people that I've heard speaking, I watch our audience so much. They're very raw. They're very real. They're not word perfect. They have really engaged their audience. They're not shiny and slick, they're raw and real and they're imparting good stuff. It's like a smack in the face to the audience of just good stuff coming at you. I'd love more people to realize that you turning up as you in your unique way, the best thing ever, rather than thinking you need to be something slick and glossy.
I know you have a backstory we've actually talked about, so I won't go into it much, but you were actually a product of the pandemic and how you responded to it, which I think is incredibly cool. One of the things that came out of that is the virtual summit, What is a virtual summit, Jen?
A virtual summit is an event. It can be a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 5 day event, bringing people together to talk about a particular topic. A summit is where you're going to get a group of people that talk around, as I say, a particular topic to an audience there to listen. It's a way of bringing together people globally. A virtual summit means anybody in the world can be part of the event, whether that's live, whether that's a recording, whether that's whatever it may be. And a virtual summit is a way for people to impart great nuggets of information, to teach, to educate, to inspire people that want to learn more or be part of something.
It's interesting. I heard other people talk about being fractional, the fractional CFO, fractional revenue officer. And this is like being a fractional showcasing, but it's more than that. It's like having a ready-made virtual assistant who understands everything. And I truly appreciate that. Having been involved in setting some smaller events up, making sure you get it right the first couple of times really helps. And having a seasoned professional do that all the time. So is this then EventRaptor would handle whether it's live or recorded then? Would this handle some really small segments? If you're just doing a small summit, how big can you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Stay tuned for 2025 because we're growing all the time. A summit can be a small group of people. And there are people that run summits and think a whole ton of people are going to turn up and it's going to be super exciting. The worst thing is not so many people turn up. When people impart great information, it can be the most wonderful event. We get that with networking meetings too. People go, oh my goodness, there's not many people here. It's not going to be good. But if you get the right speakers, the summits can be recorded and go out live. They can be recorded, diced and used as social media. That can go on YouTube. You can have it footage on your speaker reel. So it's never a wasted opportunity. And I always think that anybody who goes to a virtual event may be expecting 100 people and there's only 10, 15 people in the room. It's a great opportunity for you to deliver your message. It is an opportunity for you to give your talk and to inspire people. The most amazing questions might come out of that small audience. And the lovely thing about when you have attendees at an event is that when you open up the Q&A, people ask you such wonderful questions. It's all a good experience. It's never a wasted experience. Some people have a half-day summit. Some have 5-day summits and longer challenges. In a technological world where we are so blessed that we're pressing buttons and we turn up, people's attention spans are now shorter than ever. So really from the get-go, you need the right speakers in front of the right audience that are saying things that, as we Brits call bums on seats. What is it that you talk about that keeps people sitting, leaning in, listening, taking notes? That's the most important thing, however big your event is going to be.
Is it also a kind of a mix between, there's some events I go to and I'm in the audience live, but I'm not part of the screen. And then there are other events I'm at, but then you have breakout rooms. Is that also part of the solution map of EventRaptor?
It can be. And again, stay tuned. We've got some things coming in 2020. I can't spill the beans, otherwise I'll get in trouble. But yes, all virtual events. We think about a typical summit of people speaking or attendees asking questions, but it might be that you want to send people into breakout rooms to mull over a particular thing that a speaker has said. It might be that you want to have an expert panel. It might be that you want to shine a spotlight on a particular person and do some brainstorming. There's no set formula. The formula, again, is about having an event that people are enjoying so much that if you run that event again, people will say, I went to the last one. It was really great. If it's anything like the last, sign me up for the 1 day, 3 days, whatever. I'm coming along. It was just so good. There are different ways of running it. We like running live virtual events, and that's our preferred format. We, of course, record the event as well so that anybody who takes advantage of a VIP upgrade can get the recordings of all the speakers and all the goodies. There is something special about things being live, which often puts people off. I can't bear the thought of going live. What if somebody doesn't show up? What if this happens? I can assure you there is nothing more wonderful than it being live. And of course, have some goodies up your sleeve for if things go a little bit awry, because they do. That's life. Things happen.
One nice thing, if someone doesn't show up, you just get the speaker before to talk slowly.
There are things you can do. But we literally had a speaker that was speaking on one of our events. She crashed her car. She crashed her car on the way. She was traveling somewhere and she was going to set up in the hotel room to give her talk. En route, she actually crashed her car. This lady, she's a complete rock star. She left her husband with the car, legged it to McDonald's, back in the corner while everybody's countering, and actually spoke from McDonald's. But of course, it's important to have things in place because things happen. People get time zones wrong or their internet connectivity goes down. When you're running a virtual event, you're putting together a list of what's happening, what certain speakers at certain times. And there are people you'll see in an event that numbers go up and numbers go down or numbers remain the same, because if somebody is speaking, they often bring with them, or they have told people in their community, hey, I'm speaking on Birdie and Wayne's event. I'm speaking between 10 and 11. Come join me, come support me. It's going to be a great event. If somebody doesn't turn up, it's down to you to provide value in that time. Maybe the previous speaker can stay a bit longer. Maybe as hosts, you can expand on a particular topic. Let's have a bit of a masterclass. Who as attendees has got a problem? And fill the time. If you just leave it and go, I'm just going to fold our arms for the next hour and just wait until the next speaker shows up. Be on your toes and be mindful, but think about having things that you can do that create value and that people can still enjoy. This happened before. We've had speakers finish early, we've had all sorts of things, but we can see that the numbers stay the same because what you're doing is just continuing on with the event rather than the change impact you and throw you off.
Have you taken someone who went from invisible to impactful?
We ran a virtual event for somebody. They just wanted to turn up and do the thing. This particular person that was completely going off piste all over the place. So my poor husband and I were trying, where's she going with this? What are we doing with this? And then in Norway, we had a huge storm, complete outage. We lost everything. We managed to use our laptop and connect to data. And then we put our laptops under our arm, got in the car and drove to the next town while still keeping them on data. Because as it happened, a speaker was just starting to speak. And so we led it into the first coffee shop, burst in, ran to the corner and just ordered something from the menu, give us something, and ran the whole event from the corner of a coffee shop. The challenge was the client who was running it, who just loved to talk, and we're sending all the messages going, a couple of minutes now, wrapping up, next speaker coming. And she was ignoring that. And other things, of course, are when speakers finish early. Sometimes if you're speaking, you might think, oh, I've timed my talk. It's going to be about 30 minutes. And look, just say very quickly, you start speaking, and 15, 20 minutes in, you're done. And then there'll be questions from attendees, and attendees have been hit in the face with all this stuff. And perhaps haven't got any questions. It's called, what now? So you have to fill in and think of questions. I've had a few of those before. My goodness, what do we do with this? It's worked out. Champion stories. We've worked on growing a community with EventRaptor. When we ran one of our very first events called Own Your Stage, Own Your Stage is about the specificity of speaking. When we run virtual events, or when anybody runs virtual events and they say, I'm looking for speakers, you will get a plethora of wonderful people, including your friends, people you know, apply to speak on your event. And one of the worst things you feel you're doing, but it's actually a good thing, is saying, no, I love you, you're brilliant, but this is a finance summit and you talk about holistic well-being and there's no tie-in. You're going to appear at an event talking about this and it's going to be very discombobulating for the audience. You never want to give attendees a reason to leave. With our first event, Own Your Stage, it's all about the specificity of speaking. We ran the event about how to be more visible, what it looks like to have a TEDx talk, do your slides suck, all that kind of thing. And we created our own VIP gift, which was a networking meeting. And that's our Speaker Connections networking meeting. And from there, we've grown a community. In that community, having Speaker Connections, having masterclasses, we've had so many people come to us and say, I feel frustrated because I know my stuff, I'm good at my stuff, and I don't know how to do it. But there you are, a pair of introverts, one of you chattier than the other, demonstrating that I can get out there and do the thing. And if you could pay your bills with the compliments from people that say, thank you so much. You inspired me. You helped me. Something you said resonated with me. And then you see them doing the thing and you see them speaking their third, fourth, fifth summit, or they're off on a podcast. It's like a proud parent moment. We played a part in helping somebody in their 70s run their first summit. We played a part in somebody who has challenges in life, get out there and do the thing. What's memorable for us is so many people getting out there and realizing that there's a whole world to share your message, your knowledge, your wisdom, your skills with.
You've touched on several points. One is resilience or redundancy in the system. Sometimes best laid plans of mice and men, and next thing you know, you're driving through a snowstorm, parking your car in a snowbank, and just being able to shift gears. The other thing I've noticed you're talking about is the process. Obviously, if you have a topic, you don't bring another topic stream in there that doesn't jive with the audience. If you're producing a show, you're the producer and you gatekeep it to make sure everything runs steady for the person that's hired. Do you put a level of entertainment in there? Is that a factor? Obviously, the content's the content. If the person is, you got great content, you just have to learn how to talk better. You help them, coach them into, listen, let's jazz this up a little bit. Is there an acting session that comes into play, or they just come as you are and you roll with it? How do you shape that whole process? Is that something you do over 8 weeks?
An 8-week process. I'll give you the breakdown of planning an event. When we have a call for speakers, we're looking at what people speak about. You're going to get an eclectic mix of people. And sometimes you think, how does what you talk about tie in? But then when you speak to somebody or you see that, you think that's really clever how that happened with event management system. People book their time slot according to what works for them. It's open to people. Once you're accepted as a speaker, if you want that the first slot is normally, and we would advise you as the host, take the first slot and take the last slot, because you want to start the event demonstrating your authority and expertise. It's a nice way to round off with you speaking. But then we say to people, choose your time that works best for you. But you're going to get an eclectic mix. If you've got 3 or 4 people talking about the same thing, then it's sometimes about who is the person that you're going to choose to speak. And as I say, over the years of doing this, you're going to get people, you're a character, things are going to change. We had somebody speaking at one of our events, and he had to do a pre-recorded event because something came up with the family. And he's an Australian guy. His name escapes me for a moment, if I can remember it. So he did a recording, and it was so funny because he was a real raw Aussie, and a few kind of cursey words and expletives along the way. When you're an event host, you're always thinking about dropping things in the chat, checking for questions. I was so busy listening, and even though I knew he was pre-recorded, I could listen back. I was so enraptured and thinking, "Fuck yeah, forgot to put the thing." It was just refreshing for the faint-hearted, but just delightfully refreshing. And you think, when you get the first rumblings, you think, oh, what are people going to think? But then when you look at all the little squares of people and seeing everybody's enjoying it, we do advise people looking at the structure of what you're talking about, starting with the end in mind and what you're talking about to inspire your audience. If you're going to speak at one of our events at EventRaptor, we always say we would love for you to share something our audience can take away. So they could leave your session with your top 3 something or others, or you come up with an impactful statement that makes people think. You tend to find that you get a healthy amount of people applying to speak that are really in their wheelhouse of expertise in alignment with what you do. The beauty of it being a global event is that they come from different countries, different points of view, and that's what makes it such a delicious mix.
You mentioned it. My key point that I find bizarre is here 2 of us are in Eastern Ontario talking to a Brit who lives in Norway. What?
The fact is, even just talking about it, that gives me goosebumps. I genuinely mean it. I think what we're doing right here, right now, whether it's summits or us speaking, this is a privilege. And years ago, we wrote letters to people and they wrote letters back. As a Brit, when lots of people went to Australia, Auntie Jean called in the middle of the night. You had about 10 seconds to say, hello, Auntie Jean, how are you? Because it was expensive. Before our times, we sent people off to war. We had no idea whether they were safe, what was happening. We had to rely on letters and things. Now we press a button, we can buy things online, we can connect online. How amazing is that? We should never take that for granted. It's such a privilege. The flip side is that our attention spans are less, and we need to make sure that what we're putting out there in terms of any content is compelling and makes people want to be part of it, to tune in, listen, watch, or whatever.
You have a product producing summits, and that is exciting and wonderful. The other product you have might even be bigger. you have a shopping mall of speakers where people can plug in to their event all over the world that is both affordable and dynamic and showcased. It just seems so incredibly organic out of nowhere. Tell me about that.
We started our speaker directory when we started EventRaptor. We wanted event organizers to find speakers. Very early on, we had somebody contact us and said, your speaker directory, and somebody who's got a podcast has reached out and asked me if I'd like to be on their podcast. Is that okay? And we were absolutely fine, as long as that person's not going to say, hey, $1 gazillion and be on my podcast. And as long as you feel it's an authentic opportunity and it's something you want to do, and if you played some small part in making that happen, then great. But more and more we realize that people were using the speaker directory to book people on their live streams. There is such a delicious mix of people doing all kinds of things. And we get people saying, oh, but I talk about this topic and it's very highly specialized. Unless you create a profile, you won't give people the opportunity to find you. That's the thing about speakers and networking events, speaker connections. Have a really eclectic mix of people from all over the place. The lovely thing about it is we have what we call 3 breakthrough rooms in our networking, a chance for you to meet people, 4 to 5 to 6 people, maybe a couple of minutes each to get really laser focused on telling people what you do, who it is you serve, what it is you're looking for. After those sessions, we have a couple of quick shares before we move on to the next section. The amount of time to get people go, oh my goodness, I've just ended up with 4 or 5 amazing people that I'm going to connect with. They're all going to do a thing afterwards and chat about this. Thank you so much. And it would be lovely for Steve and I to go, that's right. While we were putting you in rooms, we got only goes with that person. It's the Zoom gods have done the thing. The lovely thing is that we see people that have come from completely, they talk about different things, completely different walks of life, country, going, yeah, I want a conversation with you. And that's just amazing. It's absolutely thrilling that happens. We had a big turnout one time. We had about 110 people at our meeting, and a lady speaking said, is this a tall order? I don't suppose. I'm looking for a particular thing. And I looked at the screen thinking, you could have a conversation. She was thinking, nobody will be able to help me. I could identify 4 to 6 people she could have a conversation with. We're more connected than ever, even as speakers talking about similar or different topics. If we think about each other, it's just an extension network. Think about each other and how we can help each other. We can all get out there and do our thing.
The technology you're talking about, the back office. So is the platform run on Zoom, Teams, Google Meets, or is it unique to its own? Or what do you do to drive that boat?
We are platform agnostic. Because it's a virtual event management system, it doesn't matter what you use it with. We prefer Zoom because even though people explore different things, Zoom is what most people know. Thanks to the global interrupt back in 2020, everybody was Zooming. I mean, people going, I'm all Google Meets out. People are saying, oh, I'm all Zoomed out, or, whatever. Make it as easy as you can for people to come. Our virtual event management system does that in as much as you get notifications and all the links and everything you need for speakers to show up, for attendees to speak up. Make it as easy as you can in terms of platform. And one time, long ago, we had somebody that couldn't show up and sent a message and said, oh, your event, I couldn't show up. We were mortified because all the good stuff went out, the reminders, Wayne speaking at the top of the hour and stay tuned, Bernie's next. What? And we're thinking, what on earth was it? And we walked through and we said, have you updated your Zoom? And she went, what's Zoom? There we go. We can't help with that one. That's not what we do. But yeah, Zoom works well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's one element. The other element of the tech on CRM, and then you also have productions. You also talked about, you have videos, recordings, depending on what the person has set up with you at a time. So you do the video editing, or is this raw footage? Do you do the ads? Do you do the promotions, the drumbeat to the universe, if they provide the links to their social media?
What we say to people in the first instance is, what is it you need? There is no point in somebody saying when they turn up to an event, can I share my screen? It's a given that you can share your screen, but we do say to people, is there something specific that you need in order to show your slide or whatever? And most people are well prepared. Sometimes people can't make the darn thing work. Some of the best speakers we've had is when the slides don't work and they just speak. They tell people the thing and it's just as inspiring as all the lovely slides and things that they've got sorted out. So there is that. So I'm just trying to think what your question, what is it that people need? So you obviously want people to be prepared with their presentations.
So you mentioned the technology, like there's a CRM element, so you can track who's attended, et cetera.
Yeah.
I mean, that also would involve, if it's a paid event, capturing the funds. Do you take care of remittances that speakers are paid? Do you do the promotional piece?
Yeah.
You know,
What we say to people is anybody who runs a virtual event on our platform, or not, you have your own criteria. There's lots of chatter about this, whether somebody should pay to participate, be paid to participate, whatever that may be. But what we as EventRaptor ask people when you come and speak at our event is, first and foremost, as mentioned, please come ready to share information with people that they will find insightful, that they can use from the get-go. But also, we would like you to promote the event because it's a win-win. We, of course, promote the event. We've got a big mailing list. We've got our Facebook group. We have our events where we promote things, but we ask speakers to promote their events. Some people do and some people don't. You might want to charge a deposit and say, we would like you to at least have X amount of people signed up. We'd love a deposit from you. If you exceed that, then, here's your money back. Don't want to take people's money. We want bums on seats. That's what we're really looking for. In terms of capturing the event, yes, we video everything and then dice and splice. Sometimes people want their particular talk, or the VIP upgrade is very popular because so many people come to an event and perhaps they just come to support their person, or they think they can only stay for a while. If you've chosen great speakers, you get the, oh my goodness, I've got an appointment at 6 o'clock. I've got to pick the kids up. I didn't realize it was going to be this great. Therefore, the VIP upgrade is not only a way for somebody to have all the recordings, but also speakers give away a gift of nominal value. And the VIP gift, that could be entry to a masterclass or a one-on-one session. A VIP upgrade is a way for a host to generate revenue. So people can charge whatever they wish for VIP upgrades, $47, $97, $127. The first event we did for Own Your Stage, we had 110 people take a VIP upgrade at $47. So instantly there was revenue from the event. That first event, we generated $50,000. And one of Steve's talk, my husband's talk, is we break down and show people and demonstrate how that happened. Because you hear people talk a big game, oh, I sold this and all the thousands or whatever, but he literally showed the spreadsheet, the breakdown of how we did it. When you offer a VIP upgrade, it means that if somebody was a great speaker, and we see people leaning in and listening. Sometimes when you say there's a VIP upgrade, people go, I can just listen and be in the moment. And when Wayne talks about his 5 tips, I can play the recording and go over it again. Not only is it revenue generating, but it means people can get the event sent to them, taking out any fluff that's not necessary. So yeah, that's us. We do that.
Jen, I always like to ask one off-ball question just for that shocked and horrified look in people's eyes. When this started in 2020, there was, oh, we'll be back in 6 weeks. Don't panic. Everyone wants to be in a hotel room. I really love catering, the look of a ballroom. The hybrid that I thought would come hasn't yet. The mixed event. I was wondering, why do you think that hasn't happened yet? Is it the future or not? And if you know what I mean by hybrid.
Yes, I think this is just my layman's expertise. My husband could give you the actual tech answer to this. In-person events and virtual events are different. They have a different energy. They have a different setup. They are set up differently. And when you think about hybrid events, you think in terms of perhaps Tony Robbins, that they've got multiple screens and whatever. You as a speaker, if you're speaking on a stage, on a real life stage, are in front of people, there is an audience in front of you in a virtual event or on camera. But where you might film somebody as opposed to how you might interact with a live audience, the difference it's like when you have theatres where they work in the round. Remember, there's some where you have the stage in the centre. The actor has to think about addressing everybody so everybody gets to see the show. And that's quite sophisticated and takes quite a sophisticated setup. Technology will afford that it'll be easier and easier. But I think some people just prefer one medium over the other. A virtual event, you're obviously going to be able to reach a heck of a lot of people instantaneously. He was working for a motivational speaker in the US who had big crowd-pleasing in-person events, a 3-day event. And then literally when the offer from stage was made, there was an avalanche of people running to the back of the room because they wanted the training course. And when the global interrupt happened, people were thinking, gosh, what can we expect now? She had to change her business model. She'd been used to addressing people from the main stage. What happened in her business was that many more people could come to the event, because if you think about going to an event, invariably there is some initial outlay from you to attend. So not only is it perhaps your ticket price, or even if the event is free, there are trains and boats and planes involved. The hotel, where are we eating? And often that can run to hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars. So when somebody makes that offer from the stage, you think, it's taken all my money to get here and be part of this. So when you run a virtual event, and indeed when she ran a virtual event, it meant that many more people could come who perhaps couldn't stay away from home for 3 days because there were children involved or responsibilities. It also meant that people that couldn't travel to the country because of monetary restrictions or visa rules couldn't come. It became an online global event. She made many more dollars because many more people came. We were in a place where there was an uncertain future, and many more people thought, I don't want to go back to a corporate cubicle. I think I'd like to be a coach. So many more people bought into products and services in the community, but also felt part of the community because everybody was in the same boat. Everybody was joining remotely. There's a lot to be said for it if you want to reach a global audience. It's a complete privilege. But when you run an event and you say to people in the chat, where are you from? You'll get things like Ontario, Los Angeles, Budapest. And then you'll get somebody that has come from such a remote place. You look and you think, my goodness, how brilliant that you touched somebody in one of the far-flung parts of the world that perhaps would never get on a train or a plane and come and see you in real life. I love the virtual event. I love that we can reach so many more people. When people were speaking at in-person events and thinking that what I'm talking about, I'm just really reaching the audience in my country, how wonderful is it that what we talk about resonates with so many people? The things we talk about are not just Canadian, Norwegian, UK centric. They impact us all over the world.
Jen,
Yes.
how long does it take from someone going, I have an epiphany, I want to do an event, depending on the size of the event, a couple thousand people to a couple hundred people to 10 people, mastermind, whatever the case, in the intention of what is the broadcast? Is it record and then push, or live and record? How much lead time should they map out for getting squared up and set up with you and then launching? Because those are two pieces, right? Especially if the person's coming to the event. And how much time should they sort out for that and then launch? How much runway do you need?
You can take the fly by the seat of your pants route that my husband took when we first wanted to run a virtual event. EventRaptor was actually created by my husband, who's an automations guy, who wanted to run a virtual event, realized there were lots of moving parts, couldn't be doing with it. By the time we'd run our second event, people were saying, how did you do the thing? Because it was really easy. And that's how EventRaptor came about. So we have an 8-week formula. It's not set in stone, but you can do it in 8 weeks. Week 1 to 2, define your topic and your target audience. What's your summit going to be about? Who are the people that are going to benefit from the summit? So work out a title, work out what it's going to look like, work out how many days you want for this, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever. Week 3 to 4, invite speakers and create your offer. So you'll be reaching out to people, whether that's via our speaker directory or LinkedIn or however you reach out to people. So we always say to people, start with the end in mind. Otherwise, a summit just becomes a nice place that people hang out for 3 days. You buy the t-shirt or program or whatever. What is it you're wanting to lead people to? What is it your offer? With certain events, you certainly don't want lots of speakers always going, buy my stuff, this is me. But you're giving people an opportunity to have a lead magnet or a gift that maybe invites a conversation with a call. But for you as the host, what is your offer? So what is it you're wanting people to think about, to be part of your community or perhaps purchase your services? Week 5, set up your event platform and registration. Obviously, that's where EventRaptor comes in. Week 6, create promotional materials and coordinate with speakers. So what's your swiped copy? What's the stuff that you're going to be asking speakers to give out? For example, when we have people speaking at events, we give them swiped copy. This is the stuff you can use on your social media platform, adding your own bits and pieces. This is the skeleton of the information you need, and you can embellish it and change it a little as you wish. We're going to, in week 7, ask people to register for the event and ask speakers to promote. You are looking for speakers to play their part because it is a commitment. If somebody's not only bringing their people along, they're going to be speaking in front of your audience and other people that are brought along. Your obligation is to promote the event, tell people you're speaking at the event, and tell people not only are you speaking, but it is a great event. And if you're somebody who wants to know more about money, the menopause, whatever it may be, then do your thing and promote. And then week 8, final preparations, tech checks, going through the thing, checking whether people need anything special. EventRaptor handles all the tech setup, so that's why it's so easy. The reason the system was created is that people could be autonomous. So even you can add your information, for example, and it might be, oh, I want to add something else. Well, you can do that yourself. That's what the system is there for. So that's thereabouts 8 weeks, and it's definitely feasible. We definitely have plenty of people in our community that do that.
Jen, I'm excited. I bought a time machine and I'm sending you back to April 1990. Piece of advice would you give you, knowing what you walked through, that could have made things easier or more painless?
April 1990. I hadn't met Steve Eriksen by then, so that was, we could move swiftly on to 92.
I'm talking the pandemic. I apologize.
Back in 1980, what were you doing and what were you thinking?
I'd work it out. My husband would love to think my life started when I met him. That is the romantic thing. When the pandemic started, we were already in the virtual world. I'm actually a voiceover. At that time, I had already narrated for over 70 countries. I had a process in place where somebody in Malta could send me a text and I could record it in my studio and send it out and hear my voice all over the place. I think it's still in a very posh list in Dubai. People in the voiceover industry were thinking, my goodness, we're out of a job. In the good old days, people in voiceover used to go to the studio. And of course they do. In Hollywood, they still do. That alone made people rethink voiceover. They're thinking, why do we need to rent studios? And people have home studios. I was already doing that. And Steve was working remotely for an American company here in Norway. And what we realized, or what we already knew, was that people could work remotely quite easily. But for a lot of people, they had no idea how to have their business online as well as offline. And that's true for networking too. A gazillion years ago, I went to networking meetings, which was my worst nightmare, balancing the cup and can't hold your business card. Show Susan where the toilets are. I'm also at that kind of thing. A lot of people had no idea how that might look. To actually be ahead of the curve was very nice to be able to say to people, don't panic. This is okay. We've just got to help you figure out how you can talk about your business online. In fact, so many people, when we were told you can all go out in the world again and do your thing, a lot of people going before, not doing that. This has changed the trajectory of my business. Why would I do that? Or people are going, I can do both now. I can be in person, I can be online. When people come to our networking event, if you are looking for a speaker for your online event in a town hall in Ontario, ask, because somebody might know somebody that could tell you. We say to people, be online, be in person, do both. What do I wish I'd known? I think every day, every week, I'm learning more and more about how people reach people. And if I had an idea, it would be good for people to be out there. I had no idea of the magnitude of it. When we talk about the 6 degrees of separation, now less than 2. Now when I speak to people, I see people go, I know about you. You're EventRaptor, aren't you? It's kind of, oh my goodness, that's amazing. What a privilege. Or then you get people at a networking meeting going, you talk about virtual events. Wait, I've got to introduce you to this guy. There's this guy that does this thing. It's an event management thing. It helps you run. And you might know him. Like, yeah, 32 years married to that guy. Yeah, I do know him. And then the virtual kitchen table working out how to do the thing in the first place. But that's lovely. And to the fact that me, a girl from just outside London, would know people globally and go, yeah, I've got people in my global Rolodex that I can call on and talk to, that I love to hang out with. That's just amazing. So if I'd known then that I would have such a global reach, that's mind-blowing, but a privilege nonetheless.
Who is seeking you out? How do they find you?
You go to EventRaptor.com if you want to see what EventRaptor does. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can come and be part of our community. We have our Facebook group, our Speaker Connections networking group. Not only do we have the networking, but we have after hours. If you want to just hang out and ask us anything about what we do and our services, you'll be welcome. Maybe you just want to hang out and ask some advice or tell us something you've been up to. We're around quite a lot. The website, the Facebook group, the Speaker Connections networking, our masterclasses. I'm around all over the place.
Jennie, that's fantastic. I want to say thank you to Jennie Eriksen, my co-host, Wayne Pratt, and Back for Business listeners. Listen, if you're going to host an event and you're going, oh my gosh, what do I got to do? And you're not familiar with that territory, or if you were familiar with that territory and know how much effort's involved, reach out to Jennie. And you know why? Because it's going to save you some time, some money. That way you can focus on your goals and what you really do well. So that's my advice to you, the listeners.
To reach the podcast hosts, email them at info@creativeinsight.com or by the website creativeinsight.com, spelled KREATIVINSIGHT.com. To reach Wayne at his email wayne@motivate.uca, that is MOTIVD, the numeral 8 and the letter U.ca, or his website motivate.uca. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast and share your knowledge, let us know. We would also appreciate your feedback on the content or format. Check the show notes for more details. For these podcasts, we like to acknowledge the support and thanks to the following people: Carl Richards from Podcast Solutions Made Simple, a renowned podcast expert; Fred Crouch, who is the Property Wizard podcaster, where Bernie is a co-host; Jalvin Strika from At Hive, a co-working space that is more than just a space; then Melanie Weber, Bernie's invaluable business partner; and Wayne Pratt from Motive 8U Inc., who serves as both a coach and co-host of these podcasts. Disclaimer: please note that the Knack 4 Business podcast episodes are meant solely for educational and general informational purposes. The information and opinions contained within are not intended to be professional advice on any subject matter. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the participants are their own personal beliefs and do not represent the views of the podcast hosts or any affiliated organizations. It is important to note that this podcast is not a replacement for consulting with certified experts in your area who possess knowledge of your unique situation. The hosts of the podcast, along with any participants or affiliated groups, do not take responsibility for any actions taken or not taken based on the information presented in this episode. It is highly recommended that individuals seek guidance from their own personal advisors in fields such as accounting, law, or other pertinent areas prior to undertaking any actions or making decisions that may impact their financial, legal, or other aspects of life.